receive God's forgiveness, that you may extend it to others. Point 4, grace looks like Jesus. Ephesians 4:32, it says, and be ye kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as God, for Christ's sake, has forgiven you. Why do you not freely give what God has freely given you? Paul gives only one reason to forgive: because Christ forgave you. Not because they apologize, not because they deserve it, not because they change, because Jesus, God, has forgiven you. So our forgiveness is extended not because of what the other person does, it's because what God's required of you. He requires this of you. This is not an act, this is a command. That you forgive as Christ has forgiven you. God is doing something in our lives. And let me tell you something. Sometimes we become so blinded by the enemy because he did not come in one fell swoop. He came in these little drops of the vision. He left breadcrumbs of the vision, and all of a sudden you got a whole loaf, and you trying to wonder where this loaf come from. It's because you did not deny the drops and the crumbs. It's because you let it sit there because it wasn't that bad. You said that I'll be all right. I can make it through this, but baby, don't you let the enemy trick you into sleeping on what the enemy is doing. God requires our grace. He told us there is one commandment, that you may love your neighbor as yourself. And the reason why he started with that, because if you ain't got love, you can't give grace and mercy. If you don't love them, you can't extend to them mercy because you're too busy concerned about yourself. You can't extend to them grace because you're going to say they should have known better. But the truth is, you should know better because God told you to give it freely. Extend it. Release it. You're nothing but a conduit of God anyway, if you are submitted to him. Now you got to ask yourself a question. Am I submitted? Am I a vessel that God can use? Am I a conduit of God's mercy and God's grace? You see, a conduit just flows from the power it receives. So can you allow God's mercy and grace flow through you? There's some denying you have to do. There's some surrendering you have to do. And let me tell you a secret. You can't do this by yourself. But you need the power of God. God never intended for you to do this by yourself. He understood that your flesh is weak. But when your spirit man rises, God can speak and use you. Imagine what would happen if every believer left here today asking 4 questions. Before I speak, is it gracious? Before I post, is it necessary? Before I judge, do I know the whole story? Before I react, what would Jesus? If you ask yourself that 4 questions before you move, God will begin to construct you and contort you unto his mercies, unto his grace. Imagine standing under Niagara Falls and millions of gallons of water pour out every second. Would you wonder about sharing 1 cup? Of course not.